if you wanted to sell products or services online, chances are you'd be using WooCommerce. For many, many years, this has been the default platform for WordPress. Now, there's a new company called FluentCart that promises to deliver on all these areas that WooCommerce has been delivering and even provide better in terms of speed, in terms of features, and so on. Today, I'm going to do a comparison between WooCommerce and FluentCart and see which one is better. Let's dive in. So here I have two websites. One is called WooCommerce. The next one here is called FluentCart. So the first test we're going to do here is to install either of these products and see how the installation process is. All right, so let's head over here to plugins and then click on add plugin. So the first one I'm going to do here is WooCommerce. And by the way, these two versions that I'll be testing or comparing are the free versions. Okay, so over here, I'm going to go in and search for WooCommerce. And I think the first result that comes up here is the actual one that we need. And by the way, my internet is quite slow here because I have so many tabs open. You know, I've noticed that something strange is happening. When I search for WooCommerce or Woo, nothing is coming up because I really thought it was my internet that's causing the problem. So if I come over here to the FluentCart and I go to plugins and then click on add plugin, let's see what happens when we search for FluentCart. Right, so with this, you can see right away, I've got a response. And by the way, over here, so far, it has 7,000 active installations. This is a fairly new product. So let's go ahead and install now, and we're going to activate. Right, so what we're going to do for now is to leave it as it is, okay? We've just installed it and activated it. Now, over here, you can see this is still spinning, but I'm pretty sure we have another way of installing WooCommerce. And just to make sure that this is not a one-off, I'm going to try again and see what the issue is. Because at first I really thought this was my internet. So let's search again. And I'm pretty sure this is temporary, by the way. So as you can see here, it's going to take a while spinning. So while that's happening, I'm going to come over here. Oops, did something change? Okay, an error occurred. Something may be wrong with WordPress.org, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I think this is something that's going on over there. Right, so over here now, I can also download this product by coming over here to WooCommerce/download. So I'm going to say download latest version, and it has downloaded. So I'm going to now go in and install it by clicking on upload plugin and then choose file. I know it's in my downloads folder, and here it is. I'm going to double click on that and then click on install now. All right, so this is going to take a while to install. And while that is happening, let's head over here and get rid of this tab here because we don't want any confusion. Okay, the installation has been successful. Now I'm going to say activate plugin. All right, so this step now is where we're going to see how easy it is to set up the store right from the get-go. So here we also get a setup wizard, which is pretty cool. So I can either skip the guided tour or I can say set up my store. So chances are you're going to want to set up your store. So let's go in and add, some information here. So I'm going to say I'm just starting my business. I'm going to hit continue. And then here, that's my name and then my WooCommerce name, my store name. What type of products do you plan to sell? So let's go with clothing and accessories. Where you're located. I'll leave the United Kingdom as it is. And then I'm going to hit continue. Okay, so we have a bunch of all these services here. Get a boost with your free features. Okay, so I may not necessarily keen on adding all these, because there's just too much. And for a beginner, you don't know what these are going to do for you. Okay, so get paid with Woo payments. All right, so I've just unchecked a few here and I'm just going to hit continue. Okay, so I think it's taking a bit of time here to decide what is going on, and let's give it some time. So I'm going to continue talking here so at least you can see how long it takes for this page to set up, and then we're going to compare that with FluentCart as well. Hopefully there isn't anything wrong here. So selling online, I've always said that this is the best way to make money online, and it is really what clients want if you're a freelancer or you're a design agency. All right, so it looks like it's all set up now. It's asking me to create an account. So I am going to say no thanks on the top right here. Okay, let's accept all first. All right, so now I have a bunch of steps again that I need to set up my store. And to be honest, I'm not keen on doing that. This is just way too much information that I have to go through just to set up a store, okay? So I'm going to compare the experience of FluentCart. So with FluentCart now, when you activate it, you're going to get an entry over here. So I'm going to click on FluentCart, and we also get a setup wizard, similar to what we had with WooCommerce. So first of all, I'm going to change this to light mode. I don't like the dark mode. So here, store country, I'm going to say United Kingdom. I can just put US, okay? Shop name, I'm just going to call it Mac Shop. Currency, I'm going to leave that as it is. The logo, I'll leave that as it is. Continue. Okay, set up tax. Now, I don't really need to set up this for now. I'm going to say continue. And now it's asking me to generate all the pages that I need for my store. So I'm going to say generate all pages. Okay, done. I'm going to say continue. And now it's asking me to start from scratch or to populate this with some information. So you know what? I'm going to start from scratch and I'm going to say save. Now, did you see that the experience over here was much easier? I'm sure you can agree with me that this store has been set up super fast as compared to what I had to go through with WooCommerce. In fact, I'm not even done yet with WooCommerce. So if I come over here, I'm still stuck here, whether I should add all my products and so on. So what I want to do is test and see how easy it is to set up a product on both platforms. Okay, so over here on WooCommerce, I'm going to say add product. Okay, now it's asking me, is it a physical product, a variable product, a group product, and so on. I'm going to say physical, and do you see how much time it takes for this to choose? Okay, so it's asking for a product name. I'm going to say product A. I'm going to say next. Okay, now it's asking me for my product description. I'm going to paste it in here. Next, the pricing, I'm going to say 57. Sale price. Okay, in fact, I won't put the sale price. That's fine. I'm going to say inventory. So I'm just going to say MAKT. Okay, that's going to be my SKU. All right. And in stock management, that's a cool feature. I'm going to say the quantity in here is, let's say 10, right? Shipping. Okay, I'll need to set this all up. Linked product. There's no linked product. Attributes, well, there isn't any attributes right now that I'm going to add, and I'm just going to say next. Okay, short description, let's paste that. Next, over here it's asking for a product image. No problem. I'm going to click here and let's upload a file. I'm pretty sure I have something from my downloads here, and I'm going to go with this t-shirt here. Okay, I'm going to say set product image. Then over here I'm going to say next. Tags. Okay, I'm just going to say t-shirt. Add the tag. Product tags. Okay, let's click next. Add your product categories. Okay, so I'm going to add another one here. Call it t-shirt. Create new category. I'm going to say next. Now that I've added my categories, now it's asking me to keep editing, or I can save this or publish it. So I'm going to say publish. All right. So now let's take a quick look at the page with my product. I've opened this in a new tab, and then over here, now we have a product. We have our description. We have our reviews tab, and it's pretty much cool. Now let's do the same over here on FluentCart. Over here on the top right, add product. Boom. Just like that, I can add my product. Again, I'm going to say product. Let's say product B for this one. It's asking me if it's a simple product, a digital product, or a physical product. So here I've got less options to choose. So I'm just going to say add. Okay, so my product has been added. I can add my description here. So let's start with the long description. Oops. So I'm just going to paste it here in the code version like that. And then I'm just going to grab a bit of text here and add the short description. Okay, so now that I've added the short description, next is the pricing. So I'm going to say 78, and then we've got the shipping options here. So for now, let's just remove the shipping options and keep this fair, because on WooCommerce, I did not add any shipping information. All right, so now that I've added my products, I can also add a category. So let's say t-shirt. Now already, I think you can see that over here, things seem to be much, easier. It's more straightforward. I can add my media here, and I can add from my library. Click on select, and let's choose our t-shirt here. This time I'm going to go with this one so that at least we have a difference. So let's say use this media. All right, so I have my t-shirt here set. Everything looks great. And then over here, I can now set this to publish, and then we're going to say update. More than 20 words. I think this is the short description. Let's get rid of that. Let's click on update. Okay, so now my product has been updated, and let's view it. There we go. So our product here has been set, but in my opinion, it has been a much easier experience with FluentCart. It was very, very easy to set it all up, and I didn't need to go through a lot of steps for me to set up the product. And what I noticed as well, I'm not sure if you noticed it, with FluentCart, it was much snappier. It was faster as I was adding the product. Okay. So when we take a look at the two, I mean, we're not too far off in terms of, what this product look like. See, it has all the information that it needs, and pretty much we are good. If I click on this plus button here, it can add my quantities. If I compare with this one, I would need to do that. I mean, it's a plus button difference. The availability also shows here, which is okay. All right. So now let's take a look and see the of WooCommerce versus the of FluentCart. So I'm going to come over here to WooCommerce. So when we take a look here at WooCommerce, if you have not completed all these steps, it is going to force you to do all the steps. Sometimes you may not be in a position to want to do that yet, but here, let's do the same thing. We're going to go back to the dashboard and take a look at the of FluentCart. So, oops, I'm on the wrong one. Okay, so let's go to FluentCart. Okay, so here, if you click on FluentCart, you get this dashboard, right? You have your onboarding checklist here, but it's not really in your face. You just have to make sure that you just follow it here and finish all the steps. Whereas over here, if you click on WooCommerce, it won't allow you to continue until you finish all the steps. So how about we go through the steps and see how easy it is to set up. Now, do you see when I click on something, it takes a while to show up? So, okay, I'm going to say take payments offline. Let's see how easy that is. Cash on delivery. Let's enable that. Okay, so you can see it takes a bit of time to come up. Let's go back. Let's try and complete this. Okay, set up payments, customize your store. Okay, it's asking me to start designing it. Okay, I don't want to do that because sometimes you just want to go in and use your theme that you have on your website and then just design it that way. So to have this here, to me, I don't think that is a good thing. It's actually making it even more complex. Now let's move on to collect sales tax. Now it's asking me to continue with the setup here. I can set up manually, but do you see how this button here is very, very small? If you are, a first-time user to WooCommerce, you're likely going to say continue with setup or install for free over here. So either way, I am saying I don't charge sales tax just to get through all these steps. Okay, let's see what else it's going to ask me. Select your shipping options. Okay, so the address. Okay, let's add an address here. Let's see how easy it is to do the shipping thing. Okay, postcode, we're gonna say B87YU. This is Birmingham. All right, so if I hit continue, enable shipping label printing, I'm gonna say no thanks to that. Okay, launch your site, your store. Okay, I'm just gonna say launch. Okay, so it looks like finally we've gotten there, but you notice that I missed quite a lot of steps for me to get through all those steps. I know they're sometimes necessary for you to do that. I'm skipping them because of course I've used WooCommerce before, but if you're a beginner, some of these steps will take you time to understand what exactly is it that you need to set up. All right, so let's click on visit your store here. All right, so we have our store, and if we go to our dashboard, let's see what pages have been added, because this is very, very important. Okay, now do you notice that we have our cart page, checkout page, account page, refund, and shop. All right, so let's do a quick view of the shop page. So here we are, we have our shop. If I say add to cart, okay, it has added to cart, but what do I do next, right? Do you see that? So you need to know what you're doing if you are using WooCommerce, definitely, because now I've added it to cart. So what next? What do I do next? Anyways, let's see what the experience is like with FluentCart. So back over here, this is the dashboard of FluentCart. So the same thing, I'm going to take a look at, and by the way, we are in test mode here. We can actually go in and set the store settings. So let's go ahead and fill in this information. So for store details, so I've already added Mac shop, and in fact, you know what? Let's just put United Kingdom here to make things easier, and street address 121 Zelig building. And then we're also going to add, okay, our town, which is Birmingham. Now, so far, if you take a look at how I'm adding information here, it is super fast and it is quite easy to follow. Okay, so we've got that. If I want to add my seller VAT ID, I can set it up here. I've just added my address. Okay, so I think I'm pretty good. Let's hit save. Now let's go back to our dashboard. Let's see what else. Oh, that's strange. What else do I need to add? My logo. And for now, I'm on test site, and let's see. United States dollar is what I'm going to use. All right. Okay, that's fine. We're going to hit save. So the next thing we're going to do is to see what is next on the list. And this is our setup payments. Again, I'm going to come over here. Now, notice that you have quite a few. You have Stripe, PayPal, you have pay on delivery. Let's do this one here just to make sure that everything is the same. Activate the payment, save settings. Okay. So it looks like the list of things that I need to do here is less, and it is much easier for me to go in and add. Now I know I have to fill up quite a lot more information here, and I guess it's because it's not live. That is also a bit of a problem. So currency formatting, weight, okay, kgs, dimensions in centimeters. Okay, that's fine. All right, so now let's take a look at the pages that it has created. So I'm going to come over here and say all pages, and sure enough, we have all these pages. So just like what I did to make sure everything is the same, I'm going to go to view page so I can take a look at the product page. Okay, so here, if we had more products, it would show up, and I could actually use the slider here to filter my products, which is pretty cool. So just like what I did before with WooCommerce, I'm going to say add to cart. Let's see what happens here. Now, do you see how things automatically change? When I say add to cart, now we have this pop-up here on the right, which is really good. It's showing me what I have, and I can delete, I can add more, and I can also go to checkout. This is not the experience I had with WooCommerce. Now look, over here, I have my checkout page, which is brilliant. I can then say place order. Okay, it needs all my information. All right, no problem. Let's add our information. So 223 St. Augustine Street, and then Birmingham, postcode B17 7GH. All right, so I think that's okay. I'm going to say place order. Now, if I had a coupon code, I'll add it over here. I'm going to say place order, and let's see what happens. Payment pending, of course, because it is on delivery. So over here now, I can view the order or download receipt. I've downloaded the receipt, and here's what it looks like. Mac Shop. It has all the information, the product, payment method, offline payment, and so on. Isn't that cool? I want to cancel this, right? If I want to print it, I can print it. So let's go back. I can view the order. So what this has done now, it has created an account automatically. And in my account here, I have the ability to see what I've purchased, the address. If I want to go in and change anything here in my account, I can go in and change over here on my profile, which is really cool. My experience so far is it's been easy with FluentCart. Of course, you're watching this video as well. You can let me know how you're finding this. Okay, so back over here, WooCommerce. So we have all these pages. So what I want to do is to really go back to that product page, because I actually don't think that this is actually how it's supposed to work. We can't just have a product page and not be able to add it to cart properly. Okay, let's try it one more time. Add to cart. Okay. I think this is much better now, because the page I had was not really cool at all. So in FluentCart, you had a pop-up that showed over here. It showed everything. Now here it's just telling me product A has been added to your cart. So I have to click again, right, to view what's in the cart. Okay. And of course I can see I have 2 products here. I can make my changes. I can change this to 1. Okay. Update. But do you see that all this could have been done on the pop-up that showed over here on the right? And that in itself is, anyways, you can apply the coupon code here, and you can also proceed to checkout. Okay, so this is where we get to add our information. So now I have to add my name and the address. So just like I did before, I am going to just fill this in. Okay, town city is Birmingham. And then over here, the postcode is B9. All right, so it needs my phone number as well. I may not want to share my phone number, so that could be a problem. And I'm going to see if it's easy for me to go in and remove that. So I'm just going to say 079999 10 767. Okay, so that's my phone number. Next, I'm going to now click on place order, and let's see what happens. Okay, so the order is placed. Now, I want to see what it looks like in my dashboard. So I'm going to come over here to my dashboard and let's go to WooCommerce. Okay, so we still have this, right? It hasn't gone. It hasn't gone. It still wants me to customize my store, set up payments. I've already set up the payments to take manual payments. I don't even know why I'm still here. Okay, so this is going to be very, very annoying for me. So let's go to the orders and see what this looks like. Okay, so this is my order. Now let's take a look at FluentCart and see what the orders look like. So over here on FluentCart, I'm going to say orders, and the UI, if we compare the two, I'm sure you can agree with me that the orders here, it looks, much, much better. We even have an advanced filter here. If you want to filter through, more information, it's pretty cool. We have even more actions that we can do here. We can show stats, order stats. We can show bulk actions. So, I mean, it's just more, user friendly over here. It's nicer to the eye. Whereas here, you can hardly do anything. I mean, what really can you do over on this page other than just click the name? And then it takes you into another layout, which is, in my opinion, quite dated as well. Okay. I mean, if you look at that, it is quite confusing and quite difficult to use. Whereas over here, if I click on the actual customer, I want to say view customer. Now, do you see the information is nice laid out over here on the right, and here it will show all my products. Now, again, let's compare the customer page. You see that? This is where things start to really show when we start comparing the two. Okay, so let's move on to more things that we can look at. So here we have reports. So reports are obviously very, very important when you run a store. Okay, so first of all, it's saying with the release of WooCommerce 4, these reports are being replaced, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, you know what? We're going to use what we have here. So there's nothing else to compare. This is what I've seen for many, many years when using WooCommerce. So over here, let's take a look at the reports. So I'm going to come over here and look at that. Now, this is totally different and it has way more information, It has specific tabs. If I come over here, I can look at my sales tab, and this will tell me my gross sales, my refunds, my revenue, and all of that. Again, if I compare that with this, where's that information? The refunds, the sales, the revenue, it doesn't really show me much, right? Okay, so let's take a look and see how robust this is. We have orders, and all this is under the reports. We're in the reports tab over here. Okay, these are our orders. It is very specific. It even shows you orders by day, by hour. It has a ton of information that you need, especially if you're running an online store, right? It can also show you your revenue by clicking over here. There's a breakdown of the revenue. As you can see, you can go in and drill down by date, and you can literally choose what period you want. Now, right now, I don't have a lot of information, so I can't really, go into that information. Again, if I come back over here, we don't have that. Yes, we say we have sales by product, we have sales by category, and so on. But even if you compare the speed, if I click on refunds, do you see how fast that loads up? Over here, if I click on anything, you see that? It takes a bit of time to show up. Okay, so let's move on. We also have subscriptions here. Now, subscriptions is very, very important. I really need to talk about subscriptions. And in the next stage of me comparing this, we're going to see how that actually works. But in terms of the reports, hands down, FluentCart has way better reports. Way better reporting system. Now, let's head over back to our dashboard. So what we're going to do next is to add a digital product. Okay, we want to try and add a digital product and see how easy that is. So again, I'm going to go to products, all products, and let's add a new product. So product name, I'm going to say Mac Digital. Okay, we're just going to paste a bit of information here. It's going to be $27. Okay, shipping, I don't need to worry about that because it's a digital product anyway. Okay, and over here, I am going to just set it to uncategorized. I don't want to spend too much time typing here. Product image, I'm just going to come over here and look for a product. Let's look for, okay, let's use the placeholder. Okay, so as you can see, that was fast enough to set up. Now let's say publish. Great. I want to say, okay, let's click and view. Okay, so there's our digital product and we're good to go. But here's the thing. we also have to make sure that it is downloadable here, okay? Because obviously this is a digital product. Unlimited downloads, that's fine. Add file. I'm going to come over here, file name. I'm just going to call this Mac file and then, choose the file. So I'm going to pretend that this is the actual file. Okay, excellent. So now that I have this all set, let's just update this. So now the person can download this product when they've purchased it. All right, excellent. Now let's do the same over here on FluentCart. So I'm going to go back to the dashboard and we are going to add a product. So to add a product quickly, it is very straightforward. You just come over here to products, add product. Okay, so again, this time here we have a pop-up. Again, it's taking away all those many clicks that you have to go through. So I'm going to say Mac Digital, just like I did before. So this is a simple product. Okay, so I'm going to say add digital product. We need a description here, so I'm just going to do that. Okay, so that's my description. I need to add an image. So let's just look for an image here. We go with, okay, let's upload something. I'm pretty sure I have an image from Unsplash. Okay, let's pretend this is our digital product. Okay, I'm going to say use this media and then save. Okay, so I've added my media here. Limit purchases per item. I'm going to leave that as it is. But the most important thing is, how do we add our downloadable assets? I'm going to come over here. You click on add, choose file, and let's hit upload because I don't have anything on my computer right now. And then we're going to search and let's say this is the product. Okay, we're going to pretend FluentCart Pro is the product. I'm going to say upload. Now, did you see how fast that was? If I say confirm, save asset, done. Okay, you know, we're good to go. Price. Oh, I forgot the price. Let's go in and add our price. So this is going to be $40 and then we're going to hit update. So our product here has been, okay, we need to publish it. Our product here has been done. We're going to hit update and take a quick look at the product. Okay. So with this product done now, I'm going to do a quick preview and here it is, Mac Digital. Okay. And we can buy now. I mean, the process is very straightforward. Okay. So the question now is, if I hit buy now, what information do I need to fill in? Do you see that here? All I need to do is to add the name and the address. The billing address is not needed. But the question now is, how do I get rid of the billing address if I wanted to remove this when I am selling digital products on my website? So in FluentCart, you'd go into the dashboard. Okay, in fact, before we go to the dashboard, by the way, you can literally go in here and add an address if you wanted to, okay, on the checkout and hit apply. Okay, it's a quick way of just doing that. But now let's go over to the dashboard and see if we can make these changes globally. So I'm going to come over here to settings. So on the settings here, I'm going to go to checkout fields. Do you see that? So the basic info that is required here, first name, last name, you know, this is, you know, pretty much your basic info. But you have the ability now to go in and remove any information that is not required, right? So if you're purely selling digital products, you can just go in and remove that. And by the way, we are still on the free version, okay? We are still on the free version. I'm going to say yes. And in fact, it's not required, but if I want to remove it completely, I can just do that. So in WooCommerce, are we able to do this? Are we able to really do that? Let's go and take a look, because the last time I used WooCommerce, it was quite difficult for me to do that. I had to use a product called Cart Flows. All right, so let's find our settings. So we're going to come over here. Right, so on our settings here, it looks like we don't have it. So we have connectors here. We have writing, reading, discussion, media. And this is under settings, by the way, permalinks. So we can't change the fields. Okay, that to me is a problem. You can't change the fields. This is where you'd need to buy a third-party plugin and add it to make it work. All right, so let's say I want to change my product and make it a subscription, right? Subscriptions are very important. I mean, we see them everywhere. Netflix has it, you know, all Apple. All these are subscriptions. So if you wanted to have something that has a subscription service onto it, can we do it? Let's take a look. So again, over here in WooCommerce, I know for a fact that you can't do it. Okay, you can't do subscriptions. Okay, this will be a third-party plugin that you'd need to do. So you would need to come over here to plugins, add plugin. Hopefully I should be able to search and find it. So I'm going to say subscription. Let's see what comes up. Looks like it's working now. Unless the whole, oh, there we go. Something happened. Did you see that? Okay, let's try Woo subscription. I don't know why it's taking a while to load up. Oh, there we go. Right. So we have WooCommerce here. I mean, look at that. 7 million installations. That just shows you how big it is. Okay. So payment plugin for Stripe. Okay, there we go. we have subscriptions for WooCommerce. Okay, but you see, there's a lot of third-party plugins that you can purchase that would need to use to add that feature onto it. So here you can see, look at the price, $213 for the first year plan, right? That's just to have subscriptions. Think about it. You've downloaded WooCommerce, you've seen the process of downloading it and setting it all up. And if you just want to add subscriptions, you're going to need to pay £340, right, for this 2-year plan, or $213 just to have subscriptions. So let's just show you how easy it is to set up subscriptions in FluentCart. So back over here, we have the subscriptions over here. So, okay, so this is an early payment for installment. This is a feature for the Pro, but basic subscriptions, you can add that. Let's go ahead and see. So I'm going to go to products. So Mac Digital needs to be turned into a subscription. I'm going to select it. So to do that, I'm going to come over here to simple variations. Okay, so now that I have simple variations, so over here with the pricing, oh, here what we need to do, we have simple variations selected, right? So we can just go in and say simple. And the moment I change this to simple, you can see now it gives me an option for subscription. So this is where I can just activate subscription, and I'm going to leave the pricing as it is. So over here on the interval, I can say yearly, half yearly, quarterly, monthly, weekly, or daily. So in most cases, people just do subscriptions for yearly. And also what is most popular here is the monthly. So let's leave it at monthly. Okay. Now, a few of these features like trial days, enable installment payment. Okay. This is like a payment system for your product. This is for the paid option, but just doing subscriptions here is fine. You can set up your subscriptions, and just by activating that, it has already been set. If I click now on update, and now I want to view the product, you're going to see that if I click on buy now. So the next feature I want to talk about, which is very, very important in e-commerce, is the variables. So the way it's implemented in FluentCart is so easy that it is amazing. Let's quickly add our variables. So I'm going to come over here and add a new product. So I'm just going to call this t-shirt. Instead of saying simple, I'm now going to say advanced. Make sure that I select physical product and then click add product. So here is where my short description goes. I'm just going to say short description. And then over here, I'm going to say long description. Okay. So now that I have this, the next thing I need to do is to start adding my pricing. So I'm going to come over here, just making sure it's advanced variations. I'm going to click here to start adding my variations. So the first variation could be color. But of course, there's quite a lot here. If you're dealing with, let's say, tech items, there's RAM, there's storage, there's weight. But the cool thing is you can also add your own. You can add your own variation. So to keep things very easy here, I'm just going to go and choose my color. And then my color here is going to be red, blue, and white. But if there's a color that's not here, you can always go in and add your own color. Okay, the next variable I'm going to add is going to be the size. So I'm going to select size, and then I'm going to say small, medium, large. Okay, so these are two variables, simple and straightforward. Now I'm going to say save. So what's going to happen next, I'm now going to add my images. So I'm going to click here, upload, add media. I'm not sure if that was the red, but I'm just going to add the colors here. Okay, this one here is blue, add media. Now watch how easy it is for me to just go in and add all these colors. So here I don't have white, but I'm just going to pretend that this is white. Okay. And then I'm going to say use media. Right. So now that I've added all these, the next thing I need to do is to add the pricing. So, okay, let's say this is 17, this is 17, and this is 17. All right. So I've added my prices. I'm going to say save. Okay. So I have my 3 variants. I have all my pricing. In fact, this is supposed to be 17, by the way. Over here, add media. I'm just going to add this one here as the default. Use image, save. Okay, so now that I've done that, it's in draft mode. I'm going to make sure that this is set to publish. And then I'm going to say update. And then over here, we're going to preview and see what this looks like. So did you see how easy that was for me to go in and add these variations? So now my t-shirt here is selected. I can say blue, large, add to cart, and that has been added. So maybe I need to buy another color, right? I'm just going to click away, and this time I need red, but in medium, add to cart. So now I have 2 products. This one here is medium. This one here is large. and then I can go to checkout from here. I mean, do you see how easy that was to create my variations? Now in WooCommerce, it's much more difficult. The UI is very confusing and it's going to take you a bit of time for you to be able to do that. Now over here on this page, you can go in and change your address if you wanted to. I think I've shown you this before, but you can change your address and so on. Now, there is also more features. For example, let's head over here to the dashboard and we're going to go into FluentCart. I know if you're running something as complex as an e-commerce store, you want to have things like, for example, your coupons. Creating a coupon code is very, very easy. All you need to do is to say add coupon, give it a name. So I'm just going to call it discount. Let's say discount 50. Right? And then here I'm going to say D50 like that. Now, this is where you get to choose whether it's going to be fixed or it's going to be a percentage. So sometimes you say 20% off, you'd go in here, add your 20 for 20% off. Here you can now add even more options. It can be minimum spend, it can be maximum spend, it can be in specific categories, it can include the products and so on. So you can, as you can see, it's quite robust, right? And then if it's stackable, you can say stackable if you need to. But this is a basic one. You can add your start date if you want to make sure that this is between specific dates. Maybe it's Valentine's week. You add it, in a specific time, and then that is how you apply it. Okay, so it is very, very easy to use. And once you're happy with that, you can just click on create. And when you now need to apply the coupon code, you can just copy it. I'm just going to copy it here. But of course, in your case, you would need to announce it in your community or in your email or in your marketing material. So let's go to products and let's go to this digital thing. Okay, we're going to view the product. And now if I say buy now, coupon code, okay, it's not active yet. I need to make sure it's active. And by the way, another way of finding out where it is, it's over here on the top. If you go to coupons, here it is. And if you need to customize it at any given time, now you can see it's not active because I added a date here. So let's get rid of the date. So it can only become active when the date is set. Okay, now let's go back to our checkout, refresh the page. And now that we've removed the date, if I now add it like that, look at that. It is applied my 20% discount. How cool is that? It's very, very easy, very, very straightforward to use. Now, the other thing I also want to talk about here is over here on the settings. So if we go to our payment settings, you may be thinking, well, does this really cover a lot? And it does really. Look, we have Stripe, we have PayPal, we have cash on delivery, Paystack, Razorpay. I mean, look at all these. And this list has increased from the last time I made a video about this. So it has a lot of features, and out of the box, you can run an e-commerce store very, very easy. Over here, we have our features and add-ons. If you're using Elementor, you have Elementor blocks, you have Fluent PDF, you have your FluentCart migrator. If you want to move this from a e-commerce store and you want to use FluentCart, you have a migrator. Migrates all your products over to FluentCart. Very, very easy. Okay, over here, you can connect this to your AI agents. You also have stock management, but this is for the paid version. Shipping, you can specifically go here and add all your shipping zones. It's very, very easy to add. You name your zone, you add all your information, pretty straightforward. Storage, if you're doing digital products, you can either store things locally or you can do them on S3 or Cloudflare. You can even have people to manage your store, but this is for the paid feature. If you're just a one-man band, this will work perfectly fine for you. You have your email configurations. So these are the emails that people get, the reminders, the notifications, and so on. You also have your tax settings. If you enable it here, you can go in and set up all your taxes depending on where you are in the world. Okay. You have your invoicing and packaging. You have your PDF templates here, your invoice settings, and so on. So as you can see, this is a fully featured product. It is ready to go. I've been using this for a couple of months now, and it has not let me down. And by the way, you also have licensing built in. You can do licensing of software within FluentCart. This is not something you're going to get with WooCommerce. So in my opinion, this is by far a much better experience. It is very, very easy to use. And if you really want to compare side by side, yes, maturity wise, WooCommerce is very, very mature. It's been out there for a very, very long time. So it's got a lot of support. But with FluentCart, It is newer, it's promising, it's full of features, it's fast moving. I mean, there was a time where we're getting features every week, right? So this is very, very powerful. Okay, if you take a look at WooCommerce, because it's been up there for a very long time, you can now build complex stores with large catalogs, advanced shipping, marketplaces, and so on. But with FluentCart, it may not seem that way because it's not tried and tested yet. It's not even a year old, right? But from what I'm seeing right now, it is capable of doing that. In terms of performance, it is very heavy. It is very heavy. WooCommerce is so slow. And if you're going to be someone selling 3 or 4 products, it is like getting a truck, a 30-ton truck to go and do your groceries. That's how I would compare that. WooCommerce is not meant for, a few products. It's heavy on WordPress and it's just not worth it. But if you look at FluentCart, it's built for performance. It is super fast. It's blazing fast. It's unbelievable. This is one of my areas where I was very skeptical. It is so fast, it's unbelievable. And from what the CEO says, it's been built on a platform which is modern and super fast. Ease of use, by far, FluentCart is much cleaner. It's a modern way of, the UI is modern. It's very, very easy to use and you can launch quickly, super fast. Whereas with WooCommerce, it has a lot of bloat, it's very clunky, and it is not a very good experience, especially if you are new. So the variations, I spoke about that. The variations in FluentCart is much, much easier to use as compared to WooCommerce. When it comes to digital products, it is hands down much, much easier with FluentCart, and you also have subscriptions out of the box, where in WooCommerce you have to pay for subscriptions. Okay, extensions and ecosystem. I think I touched on that a little bit. The ecosystem is a bit small on FluentCart, but it is growing, and to be honest, you don't even really need a lot of these extensions. So you would find that with the ecosystem that FluentCart has, you're going to be able to do much, much more anyways. So when it comes to the cost, both are free. But after you've done free, which one gives you more on the free? Definitely FluentCart gives you more. Okay. But if you now take the next step and start adding all the plugins on the WooCommerce side are way more expensive. Okay. They are both self-hosted. And is there a big risk really for using FluentCart? Absolutely not. So all in all, my take on this is you want to definitely take a look at FluentCart. I've been using it. I'm behind it. And the pro features are even better without actually breaking the bank. Anyway, guys, I'll leave a link to FluentCart and the FluentCart Pro. Check it out. I also like to hear your views on this. Let me know what you think in the comments box below. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next one. Take care.